Today we were all looking for Eddie Howe to answer certain questions on certain players, and I guess he did this morning. Obviously, there was the issue of Allan Saint-Maximin. What is going on with him? You know, after the news from Jordan Cronin yesterday, saying he was out 4 to 6 weeks, then he was found to be, putting on Instagram that he's jogging and running along a Riviera. So questions need to be answered there, and of course on Anthony Gordon. After his little spat on the sidelines at Brentford last week. But as you can see in the headline there is no issue. But we will come on to that. This is the Daily News. Hi everybody and welcome back to the Toon Review for the Daily News. Before we get into it, as usual, if you do enjoy today's video, guys, do smash that like button for us. It really does help us move up the search results on YouTube. And of course, if you're new to the channel, come and join the fantastic community that we have here by hitting that subscribe button. Free to do so, and also that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload any videos. Now, straight into the press conference, and straight away Eddie was talking about the game against Villa, saying it's going to be a tough challenge for us. We're going to have to be getting right certain parts of our defensive structure, or they'll give us big problems. Their form has been strong and consistent, so we know we'll have a tough game. Now, I'm pleased he's addressed the Brentford situation, and certainly if you can look back to last weekend, the first half was all over the shop. We were dreadful. It's fair to say. Quite lucky to get away with only being one down at half-time. Things needed to change. And, credit where credit's due to Eddie. He changed that at half-time, changed the formation as well, and we blew them away in the first 20 minutes of that second half. Some of the football that we played in that second half was an absolute joy to watch. It really was. But I'm pleased he's addressed it, but I don't think he means just the back four. I think what he means is, as a team defensively, we need to come together and be a lot stronger than we were, because, let's face it, we were all over the place in that first half. We've got to get defensively tackles right as well. You look at Sven Botman's tackle last week. He went in far too late. The penalty should never have been a penalty. I think, we're all agreed on that. But defensively, we were shaky as a team and as a unit. So we need to be better than that going into the game tomorrow against Villa. So I'm pleased he's addressed that. And without a doubt, we'll have worked on that in training. So hopefully, we will see from kick-off tomorrow at 12:30, we will see a very different first half from Newcastle United. Now, on Maxi. He says, I don't think it's a serious injury, but he's away getting treatment at the moment, so he's not with us. Hopefully at some stage next week, he'll be back and available very soon. Now, I've seen various articles on social media this morning saying, you'll be back for the Spurs game, etc. But just look at what Eddie's saying here. He says, I don't think it's a serious injury. He's not with us at the moment, and hopefully at some stage next week he'll be back. So he's not saying he will be back. He's not putting any definites on it. He's been very coy about the situation, which we know Eddie Howe is. He doesn't like to commit himself to much during press conferences. And obviously, he's not 100% that Maxi's going to be back next week. So wherever Jordan Cronin got his information from, I don't know. But certainly it caused a bit of a stir. Yesterday, I've seen remarks on our preview show saying, we were going over the top with the Maxi stuff. It was supposed to be a preview show. People forget that the Toon Review is also a news show. So if there's any news to bring you on the club, we will. So if we talk about Maxi for half an hour and then move on to the preview, then that's what we'll do, because it's newsworthy. And certainly the confusion yesterday over 4 to 6 weeks out, and then obviously seeing him on Instagram running, it did cause a lot of confusion. And that was the only problem with me. The only problem I had was with him running. I didn't understand what was going on. If he was running like that, should he be back here? We certainly weren't hating on Maxi. We're not a channel that hates on Maxi at all. In fact, we've got one of the biggest supporters in Maxi and Stato. So it was, some of the comments were a joke. I'm sorry to say, but having a dig at us for that was outrageous. So look, hopefully Maxi will be back next week. He'll be back in the squad and back to full fitness again and flying like he has been in the last 3 or 4 games that he's played. Now, Miguel Almiron, he said he's done really well. He's ahead of schedule at the moment, so fingers crossed he gets through training and he could be available very soon. Again, different reports on social media saying that, he should make the bench, or is he going to be just left out that extra week longer, give him another week of training, and then get him back in the squad? Personally, I think Miggy will be on the bench tomorrow against Villa, which will give us another option. It'll be fantastic to have Miggy back on the bench, and if we can get 15 minutes out of him at the end, you know how explosive Miggy is, he will cause players problems. Villa's back line for me is not as good as all these pundits are saying, and Villa's turned it around, because they haven't met anyone really at the top end of the table who is playing very, very well at the moment. And tomorrow is going to be a very big test for Villa as well. It will be a test for us as well, there's no doubt about it, but I think it's a test that we'll come through, because I think we've got the players to do it. We're a very exciting side, and I don't think Villa will be able to handle our press, providing, like Eddie said earlier in the press conference, we go at them. And we don't play the same way that we played in the Brentford first half, because if we play that way, we will get punished. But I don't think we will. So it'd be great to have Miggy back, undoubtedly, because we know what Miggy can offer us. Anthony Gordon, so this is the big one for me. Obviously, talking about Anthony Gordon last week, throughout the week, we've seen many fans come out and say, he should be suspended for a game, or he should be this, he should be that. Now, what we did say on the show is, I reckon that Eddie Howe got him in the dressing room, just sat him down, had a chat with him, and it was done and dusted, forgotten about, move on. And that's exactly what Eddie Howe is confirming here. He said his enthusiasm, aggression, and motivation levels are really high. He's fiercely determined to do well and achieve. It's one of his strengths, and we want to embrace that. We love that about him, but in certain moments he needs a cool head as well. I've got no issue with him at all. He's trained really well this week. Now, if that's not putting it to bed, then I don't know what is. Personally, I've backed Anthony Gordon to start. I've predicted that he'll be in the starting lineup tomorrow on the right-hand side. He may well not be, but I'd love to see him start a game, because he is explosive. He has got that little bit of aggression about him. But like Eddie says, you don't want to take that away from a player. And we've said during the week that Eddie is the perfect person and perfect manager to nurture this out and nurture his aggression and motivation and enthusiasm in the right way, because he won't want to knock it out of him. As a Premier League player, certainly like Anthony Gordon, you want that kind of grit. You want that kind of determination in a player, and you don't want to knock it out of them, because if you do, you end up in all sorts of problems. So I think he speaks very highly there. Now, I've seen Keith Downey, he further commented on this on Twitter, saying that, they had a 10-15 minute chat after the game and everything was resolved. That's what I like about Eddie Howe. He obviously, let him calm down. Matt Ritchie had a word with him after the game. You saw on the photograph at the end of the game how happy Anthony Gordon was. Big smile on his face with the rest of the lads. There was no issue. It was done and dusted before they got back on the coach. And it's all gone. And like Eddie said there, he's trained really well all week. So there is no issue. And I think it's rather disappointing to fans coming out and saying that they want to see him suspended for a game, or, we've got a right arsehole on our hands and things like that, because you don't know. And certainly with Anthony Gordon, he's young. He's a young kid. He's aggressive and he's got the motivation. And, I'm pleased that Eddie's come out and said that we want to embrace it, because I think Eddie Howe is the perfect man to get this out of Anthony Gordon's system and direct it in the right way. I nearly said Eddie Murphy there. I've got no idea why, but that's just me to a T, isn't it, guys? So yeah, I'm really, really happy with what Eddie had to say about Anthony Gordon, and I'm sure it's put a lot of fans' minds at rest that he's still part of the squad. Now, on the recent run of results, he says, I think there's a growing belief that we're getting back to our best form after a difficult period around January when we were a bit frustrated with ourselves. The Wolves win was a big moment for us, and we've backed that up. Haven't the half backed it up? Absolutely tremendous. If they needed to shut the pundits up who were writing us off, because if you remember back in January, the pundits had us all, Newcastle United are dropping away. They're falling away. Liverpool are coming forward. Tottenham are coming forward. Manchester United, they're all going to overtake Newcastle. We've seen the best of Newcastle this season, and now they've hit a slump and they're disappearing. It hasn't worked out like that, has it? We've really responded well. Like he said there, after the cup final, our form has just gone whoosh back up again. We didn't play too badly in the cup final. Obviously, the final third was a bit of a problem. However, we have responded really well, and long may that continue. We've got some really tough games coming up. This one at Villa tomorrow is a tough game, but I think we'll get through it. And then we've got Spurs at home. That is a huge game, because if we win that game at home to Spurs, they are drifting away from the top four. So Spurs will be determined to get a result at St James's, but we know what kind of season Spurs are having at the minute. They're all over the shop. They really are. So really looking forward to that game as well. But don't forget, you can catch tomorrow's game live here from midday, followed by full play-by-play commentary at 12:30 with myself. So it's going to be a great game, and I'm really looking forward to commentating on it tomorrow. But there you go, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought about what he's had to say. Are you happy about the Maxi situation now? Especially Anthony Gordon as well. Let me know what you think of that. But before you go, guys, do hit that like button. As I said at the start, it is so important to this channel that we maintain the likes and keep us high in the search results on YouTube. And of course, if you're new, please do subscribe to the channel. Free to do so, and the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload. But that's it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Take care.